Okay, welcome back. Today I'm gonna just talk a little bit about models, DAO, and business objects, kind of what they do, and try and clear up a few things. So first, what is a model, DAO, business object? If I go ahead and open up Paint, there. So the model is a temporary storage. So if I'll go to brown. So it's a temp storage. We need this temp storage basically to tell your Java business object and anything that's using the values that we get from the database. We need a place to store those values so that our Java can actually use it. A good example of why we would need this is if I open up any one of our any one of our tests where we were reading from a file, if you didn't have a way to store our data somehow, just like this first read line command, the data is just doing nothing. It's being read into Java, nothing's happening with it really, and it's going away. So we need a temporary storage so that we can actually use and access this data on the fly. Okay, now here is an overview of our case study and how it's supposed to go. We have over on the far right hand side our user interface, which is basically JSP and HTML. Our servlets are connecting our JSP with our business objects and database objects. We use JUnit and Selenium to test. The JUnit is testing more of the unit tests and specific methods. As far as I'm aware, the Selenium is running through the web browsers and servlets, testing the input fields and so on and so forth. Okay, now to get back to the main topic for today, the DAO, business object, and model. So the model is the temporary storage for the data access object or the business object. Whichever one you want to use, they both can use the temporary storage of models. Okay. The database access object, which is the DAO, its only role in life is to listen to the business object and pass what the business object says off to the database, and then retrieve or listen to the database and send whatever the database says back off to the business object. Both of these relationships are shown in red and green. Okay, and you can see that the red is coming from the user, going through servlets, going through the business object, and that's passed directly through the database access object, and then the return goes the opposite direction. The database access object's role is only to be the connector. The business object is doing any kind of validations that you need in the Java side, as well as any connections as well as any calculations that you want your application to do. Any kind of business you want your business object to do. We need all these different layers for essentially security and stability. The masses out in the world, which is user interface, have a tendency to break things. Whether they want to or not, it happens. We don't want them breaking our important data. It's much easier to do a restore on a server by just a simple restart. It's much easier to restart the application, simple restart, than it is to recover databases. So we have all these layers for security. We don't want our users ever breaking our database. We never want the users able to access our sensitive information. It's very important that we have all these checks and balances to make sure that our information is safe and secure. All right.